For several weeks now, there have been concerns from human rights organisations about Hungary because the country's Prime Minister, Viktor Orbán, currently rules by decree, which means he does not have to consult other lawmakers before making policy decisions. Well, on top of this, a new piece of legislation has been approved by the Hungarian Parliament and has raised particular controversy over one article. That article is Article 33, which amends the Civil Registry Office, things like legal identity documents, marriage and birth certificates. It has changed the wording about one of the characteristics from sex to the phrase sex assigned at birth. Now, this is seen as a ban on the legal gender recognition for transgender and intersex communities within Hungary and a huge infringement on their ability to assert gender recognition. Now, this bill was first proposed back in March, and since then it has received widespread criticism from a number of organisations, including Amnesty International. They say that this is a move back towards the Dark Ages, and they've been sharing videos like this, urging people to upload videos of them tearing up Article 33 pages to show that they are in solidarity with the rights of transgender and intersex people. But since this campaign, we now know that that law has been approved by Parliament, and we can now speak to Amnesty International's President for France, Cécile Coudriou. Thank you very much for your time this evening, really appreciate it. Could you just tell us your reaction to this bill and what it means for transgender communities within Hungary?
Well, Amnesty International is, of course, absolutely appalled by such a decision, even though it is not a surprise, sadly, because Hungary has been drifting away from human rights and European values for quite some time now. So it is really appalling because it will be an encouragement to discriminate against intersex and trans people. And these people do not have the choice to be who they are. And it is not because you pretend to be denying that gender exists that it's going to become a reality. So very concretely, on a daily basis, it's going to be a nightmare for these people for absolutely no reason. Viktor Orbán is again instrumentalizing the pandemic and also the state of emergency to pass laws that have nothing to do with this. There is no emergency, of course, about this kind of law today.
We've seen within Hungary there are LGBT organisations urging for the president not to sign this move and to go to constitutional courts for review. What else are Amnesty International calling for?
Yeah, we have launched a very strong campaign called the Drop 33 because we thought it could be enough to put pressure on ministers and on the members of parliament. Unfortunately, it was not sufficient because the party is unfortunately easily able to impose this kind of majority on a vote. But the fight is not over yet. We're going to continue to ask two things. Number one, we're going to continue to ask all states of the European Union to put pressure on this Hungarian government because obviously they do not respect international law, nor European law, nor even rule law, in fact. And number two, we're going to ask that the constitutional courts can review this law because we are absolutely concerned it is unconstitutional and not only against international law, but even against national law. So we still have hope, and we're going to continue to fight against a law which is a synonym of discrimination in a country where the climate is already quite hostile against LGBTI people. With such a law, it could become much, much worse. So we have to continue to fight. And we know that many people in the population in Hungary and also in Europe are really shocked by this decision and are going to be in solidarity with us, with Amnesty International, to continue to try to prevent that law from being ratified.
Cécile Coudriou from Amnesty International, thank you very much for your time there. So you can hear, Isabel, calls from human rights organisations that have spread not just online, but also to the streets, with some people socially distancing protest outside the Parliament to make their voices heard against this new bill.